Well, we are into the next day, and I ended up getting all these knives put in just a little while ago. I've got the transition pan adjusted correctly with the right number of shims in there. I think I've got one thick one and three thin ones. So we've got brand new nut bars in there. Every knife is adjusted to the shear bar. I went ahead and moved the shear bar out so that we can spin this without any knives lightly bumping the shear bar. We had some of them that were, they were bumping pretty good, but I was able to rotate it. What we need to do now is we need to go through and torque these down. When I put them in, I bump the center one in and get it so that the knife will be held by the center one, and then I can maneuver or manipulate the knife accordingly to the shear bar. And then we went ahead and bumped them all with the impact. Now this center one, I didn't go back and bump this one again with the impact. We'll torque these at 206 foot-pounds. And then what I need to do is I need to put a new sharpening stone in. Well, I don't know if I exactly need a new one or not, but I've got to at least move it up. Now, if you might notice, I'm using a different light here. Yeah, there's not much left on there. I'll go ahead and adjust that up, use that quick, and then we'll put a new stone on there. We just want to go over them knives one quick time, and then we can go ahead and adjust the shear bar, run the grease gun around this, and then this will be ready for second cutting. But we're going to go back to that in the morning. What I'm doing now is I'm changing oil. This is the first oil change on my Sunday truck. I've got to do my wife's car as well. She's been getting after me. I've got 8,000 miles on this. I don't know where or what the recommended oil change interval is for the first time around. I maybe went a little too far. But I got this truck back in, it was November, I think it was. We were shelling corn still. The dealer brought it out. This was a truck I ordered right around Labor Day. And the previous one that I had to it was a 2019 2500 with the Cummins in it. And the one I had prior to that was a 2014 with a Cummins. The 2014 was a mega cab. The cab was a little bigger, and that 14 was the first Ram that I have ever owned. I've had Chevys, and then prior to the Chevys, I've had Fords. And the reason why I went to Ram, well, it was Dodge first, but Ram was because of the Cummins diesel engine. I wanted a diesel engine. I don't need a diesel engine, but I wanted one. And back in 14, Ford was having trouble with the power strokes. We have a Duramax in the Army truck, and I wanted to try a Dodge. And I had good luck with the 14. I ended up trading that off in the fall of 19, and then of course we're into the the stuff that we're dealing with right now with these vehicles is stupid. I ended up getting what I paid for that 2019. Had we not been in the environment we're in, I wouldn't have ordered this one, but I did. So this truck here is a 3500. The reason why I went with a 3500 for a couple of reasons. One, it has leaf springs in the rear end opposed to the coil springs that the 2500s had. I didn't have any problems with the coil springs, but I don't know. I didn't have any problems with them, and I kind of wanted the 3500 this time around. I don't need a truck this big, but this diesel engine here is the high output 6.7 Cummins diesel engine. You cannot get the high output diesel engine in the 3/4 ton, at least not yet anyways. And the only way to get this engine is to order the 3500, and it gives you, not only does it give you the high output engine, but it also gives you the ACEN transmission that's a little better than that TRF8E or whatever the heck it is. So we're changing the oil for the first time here, and I ended up removing the oil filter here a minute ago, and that's still down inside there. That goes right in over the top of the frame rail. You reach in and you go ahead and take that off in there. And then I ended up getting one of these nifty little oil filter T-plug caps here. And this just screws into the filter. Now if I were to pull this filter out without this little cap in there, oil would have dumped down the side of the frame and down onto the floor and so on. Jared ended up getting one of these caps here a while ago, and it works real handy for just screwing in the top of the filter, and it leaves the mess right inside the filter. I don't know what the part number is or anything, but you can get these for all makes and models, and it makes it easy to get your filter out. So you can see that is a Mopar filter, and it is the original one. So we'll go ahead and slap a new filter on here, get some oil in there, and then I need to pull my wife's car in here and change the oil quick on that, and we'll go ahead and get back into a little discussion once I get changing the oil on that. Now, you might say, gee, Andy, why do you have a 3500 if you don't need it? Well, let's just say this might be my midlife crisis vehicle. Some guys buy the souped up sports cars, and maybe this is just what it is. So this has the Laramie package. The other trucks that I've had in the past have had the cloth interior, and I always put seat covers on them, but this vehicle here, in order to get the leather seats, you had to order the leather packet, or the Laramie package, which was a considerable amount of money more than the Bighorn package. The truck I had prior to the 19 was the Mega Cab. That cab comes back to here, and that gives you a lot more leg room for, you know, someone that's 6'6" that wants to sit in the back. They've got just as much room as the seats have up front here. So I think Ram does a good job putting these trucks together. The creature amenities that the interior has is pretty nice. It's laid out excellent, and I ended up ordering the taller radio screen there, or whatever, but I don't know if you really need that, but I figured that for resale and whatever, that would just go along better with the whole thing here. So we better get some oil in it, get a filter on it, get this one out, and get my wife's car in here. Get that done, then I'm gonna ride around and look at some corn. We wanna get the corn planter cleaned up. And I've gotta make sure I don't have any replanting that I need to do. Everything looks good from what I've seen from the chopper, and I've been in every area that the corn planter's been in. However, I have to put a list together for the fields that we need to have resprayed. And I've got the drone in my truck here. I'm gonna go ahead and fly that around a little bit here, but I need to get these oil changes done here first. Well, we've got the oil change done here. I actually had to pull the book out to see just what it said for the oil change interval here, and it says change engine oil every 15,000 miles, or 12 months, or 500 hours or sooner if prompted by the oil change indicator. So this had 258 hours on it, so we're 8 hours past the regular interval that we change all of our equipment at, and they say a new engine, actually the oil should be changed at 100 hours. So we're going to pull this out, pull the Tahoe in, get that done, and then I need to go scouting some cornfields here. Well, we've got the oil change done and the truck. Now we are going to do the oil change on my wife's car, and we're actually in it right now. I need to run it around the block to get it warmed up. This is actually not a car, it's a Chevy Tahoe. Jared was just pulling out of the dooryard. Him and Fitzy are hauling manure over to Nate. I said, you know what, why don't we just drive by the field? We can see how they're doing. Warm up the engine oil on the Tahoe. I've got a little bit of a funny story to tell you here about when we bought this vehicle. This is a 2019 Chevy Tahoe. It's got 27,600 miles on it. We actually just traded it off here now for another one, and we'll kind of explain that here in a bit of a minute. But when we bought this new back in, I think we got it just after Christmas in 2018, so we actually got it in 2019. My wife seen this at the dealership, and she said, you know, we probably should upgrade. We had a 2011 Chevy Suburban. The kids were getting older. Jared wasn't living at home anymore. For the most part, the kids not all of them ever went with us anyways, so we didn't need a Suburban. We wanted to downsize a little bit. And these Tahoes, guys usually buy these for their mistress, and my wife won't let me have a mistress, so I said, you know, I might as well buy you a Tahoe. So, like I said, she had her eye on it. We went and looked at it one night, and I called up the salesman at the dealership. I talked to him for a bit of a minute. I was actually hauling manure myself. I said, my wife's interested in that gray 2019 Tahoe that you have sitting out back. Is it sold? No, he said it's not sold yet. And he said, would you like to come in and take it for a test drive? I said, well, here's my situation. My schedule is kind of goofed up here. I don't really have time to come in and test drive it. Can you bring it to me? So he says, what's your situation? I told him, you know, I'm a farmer and I really don't have time to run around and stop in the dealerships. You know, why don't you bring it out? We'll take a look at it and test drive it and do whatever. So he stops out with it. I told my wife he was on his way. He came out with it, and my wife says, where are you? I said, I'm hauling manure. I said, just take care of it. Take it for a test drive. Make sure it's something you want, and we'll, you know, take it to the next step. So she test drove it with the salesman, and you know, she really liked it. You know, a little shorter wheelbase than Suburban and whatever. So she calls me up. She says, yeah, I think it's something I want. So I said to the salesman, he's still at the house there, I said, what's the best price you can give me for that? Or, you know, for our Suburban. And they had said that, you know, the trade-in value of the Suburban was this much. And I said, you know what, why don't we just keep the Suburban? We'll buy this Tahoe outright. So that's what we ended up doing. We thought about it for a day or two, and they came up with a real good price, and we agreed to buy it. So I said to the salesman, I said, well, when you get your paperwork all in order, when you get everything all ready to go, why don't you just bring it back out and we'll take care of the paperwork at the house? And he says, well, here's the situation that we're in. We've got some of the paperwork that is on our computer program that we can't take with us. I'm like, what? He said, well, whatever. It is what it is. So later we found out it was because they wanted to upsell some car warranty stuff, and they wanted to get you in there to buy all the rust-proofing programs and all that crap. So we went out. I dropped my wife off to pick it up, and they come out into the parking lot, and they're gonna get into the vehicle, and they're gonna show her, you know, how the keyless entry works and how to set up Bluetooth on the radio and all that stuff. And the salesman says to me, he says, why don't you go ahead and get up front here? I said, no, it's her car. You can sit up front, explain to her what's going on, and she gets in the driver's seat. Now, this salesman, he was younger. He was in his late 20s. And Alex and Sarah were commenting on how, you know, hey, Mom, this guy's pretty good looking, you know. And I was kidding my wife about it and whatever, you know. We were kind of having a little bit of fun with it. And I was picking on her a little bit when she went to test drive this with him and everything else. So, you know, we're at the dealership. She's sitting in the driver's seat here. The salesman's sitting in the passenger seat, and I'm just standing outside the vehicle talking with the kids, and we're waiting for her to get set up, and then we're gonna follow each other home and get something to eat somewhere. So I'm laughing, still laughing about the, you know, joking around with her and whatever, with the younger salesman and whatever. And he gets her phone set up on the radio here, and the song that come across the display on the radio, I don't know what band it is or anything, but the title of the song was "You Shook Me All Night Long." So I'm tapping on the window and I'm laughing at her and I'm giving her the thumbs up and everything else. She got so embarrassed. Then he sees what's on the radio as well. He got embarrassed, and we all, at the end, we all laughed about it. So the guys are spreading manure on hay ground. We're gonna be driving right by there in a second here, but my wife ended up going to McNerney's here in Tully. They're actually not that far away from here, and she ordered herself a vehicle here. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I said, you know what, if anything else, why don't you order what you go. I couldn't go with her. I was planting corn. I said, order what you want. I've done business with this salesman before, and this one came from a different dealership, and they weren't willing to relocate or swap vehicles out or anything like that. It wasn't anything like our dealer, the dealer that we're going to go through now. It isn't anything like where he could you know, do a vehicle transfer or anything. Well, at any rate, my wife ordered one here a few weeks ago, and they actually just called her back. Called her, today's Sunday. They called her on Friday, and they said there's a problem with the order. They're only going to build a certain number of them, and she actually ordered a diesel Tahoe, and it was up in the air whether it was going to be a 2022 or a 2023. And they're getting right in the middle of switching model years here, and they said that the diesel model, they're not going to be able to, more than likely not going to be able to build it for this go around of vehicle orders. They've only got a lot of like 180 or something that they can build, and they've got to kind of stay with the general majority or whatever it is there, so I didn't quite understand it. The diesel engine, the upcharge on the diesel engine for the Tahoe and the Suburban is only $995. It costs more to put bucket seats in the second row than it did to do an upgrade for a diesel engine. The salesman that sells equipment for John Deere, he's got that 3-liter Duramax diesel in the in a half-ton pickup. He says he gets like 27 to 29 miles to the gallon driving, you know, in this kind of area here, and that's pretty good for you know, a half-ton vehicle. We might as well just pull in now. Do not tell my wife that we are pulling into the field here. So we've kind of traded this in, but we haven't really. So if anybody's interested in this vehicle, we should get our new one in September, I guess. This one's got 27,600 miles, and it is in excellent shape. Once we get back to the shop here, we'll do a little walk around of it on it when we're draining the oil out of it here. So it's gonna get a little dusty, but you guys do not tell my wife that I had this in the field. Jared's gonna pull up right there. We're gonna sneak out through here, and we're just gonna do a little drive-by here. Nate says, Kim, what are you doing in the field? Oh, it's just Andy. Yeah, we can do a little off-roading, couldn't we? But then it wouldn't be too good to be advertising this for sale if we're abusing it. The Mac has been working out great for Jared. He couldn't be more tickled to be running that truck there. He does still prefer the 900, but that's a pretty good truck. He bought that truck from Zach Newton. Zach's the guy that did the drag lining for us. So why don't we go ahead and get back to the farm? Enough jaw jacking, let's get back. We've got a little stream of manure right here. I don't know if I want to drive through it, but I don't think it's going to hurt anything. So that's that. So we'll go ahead, we'll get back to the farm, drop the oil out of this, and then I still have to do some field scouting here. This corn's about ready to have some nitrogen applied to it, but I don't know how much we need to put on. We didn't have too much nitrogen leach off this year because we had just the amount of rain that we needed. So we'll join back up with you when we get back to the shop. All right, we are just getting done with the oil change on this Tahoe. Now you might be asking, gee, Andy, do you have a funky little oil filter cap T-handle tool for the Tahoe as well? And the answer is no, I do not. I don't even know if maybe that plug would work on this one. I don't know if it's the same thread or not. But on this 5.3 liter gas engine that's in this Tahoe, the oil filter and the oil plug are right in the same location. The oil filter is vertical. There's nothing in the way of it. And you can drop your oil out and pull your oil filter off and drain it into the same bucket. The other nice thing about these, in my 8.1 liter Vortec engine that's in my green truck, I changed the oil on that, and when you pull the oil out, the oil still kind of looks like it is brand new still. Now this has 27,000 miles on it. Actually, it's closer to 28,000 miles than it is 27,000. And this is it only has 2 rows of seats in it. You can't quite see in here. It doesn't have the 3rd row of seats. Now, a Suburban is a little longer, but you can get the 3 rows of seats in these Tahoes. This Tahoe was set up for like a cop car vehicle or a fire police vehicle or something. It's kind of a basic Tahoe. They had changed out the grill on this as well. I don't know if it's got the black, because of the black badging maybe or something. I don't know, but we do have another grill for this. So I've just got to check the oil. I've let it run for a hot minute here. We just got to check the engine level itself. This holds 8 quarts of oil. That diesel engine in my pickup holds 12. The engine that's in my green truck only holds 6. And we have been using this full synthetic oil, and we're probably changing the oil a little earlier than it needs to be done. But this is the actual Dexos oil that they want you to use on this. So this is in real good shape. I don't know what we're going to do with it, as far as, are we going to let the dealer take it in on trade? Are we going to try to sell it privately? Or are we going to go through another avenue like Carfax or something like that? But it is in excellent shape. It would make someone a real nice vehicle. It's basically just been a grocery getter for my wife, and we're just trading it off because of the way vehicles are. They're just worth, it's just smart to keep trading them off, I guess. It doesn't have hardly any miles on it. So I need to get that oil there into a 5-gallon bucket, dump it over into our waste oil bin, and then we need to start checking some cornfields here. Well, we've just left the shop, and this field here is the first field of corn that we planted with the 16-row planter. Now, I'm not going to bore anybody by walking out in it and showing you how tall it is and everything like that. It looks like it's a little over knee high, and it is Juneteenth. It's June 19th. So it looks pretty good. Now, I'm going to head up to a field that we no-tilled, that we have some weed pressure on, and we're going to show you that, and then we're going to kind of end this video here. The corn looks like it's a little short coming around this headland here on this one side, but that was underwater for most of the spring here. So we've got to travel some 10 miles here. We're actually only a couple miles away from the farm here right now, and we'll show you one of the first fields that the 6-row planter did. Actually, it's the same farm. This is on the same farm, but just up here, this field that's going to be on our left-hand side is the second field that the 6-row planter planted this year. And that is right there. We're just going to do a quick drive-by. Not going to bore anybody. So, it's corn. It's green, and it's growing in rows. So, let's travel out to that field that we no-tilled, and we'll check the weed pressure that we have there, and I've got to check some other fields, and then we're going to close out this video here. Well, this is the tail end of this video here. I have put the drone up in the air, and we do have to do some respraying here. We've got some weed patches of some broadleafs, and we've also got some grasses that are in the center of this field here. So we're going to fly over the worst part of this field here in a second, and then we're going to close out this video. I actually took some pictures of it, and I'm going to send this along to the guy that does our spraying for us. Now that spot right there is where I ran out of corn with that one row, and I ended up filling it up after I got to the end there. But we've got some spots in the center of the field. We got a spot right there that needs resprayed, where it's pretty thick there. And then there's a spot right up ahead of us here where there's some grasses growing here as well. But for the most part, it's in decent shape, and we just need to get this addressed. So that's gonna do it for this video. This is the Hudson farm, and yeah, so we'll catch you at the next video, folks. I'm gonna get this drone landed. I've got some other fields to check, but everything that I came across that I could see from the chopper looked good. I knew I had I knew I had to address this, so that's what we're going to get done here, or have the guys that do our spraying get done this week. So take it easy, folks. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you at the next one.